Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone to please mute your microphone so we don't have any noises interrupting today's session. If you wish to ask questions, you may do so by sending your questions in the chat box or wait for your turn to ask during the Q&A session. I would also like to seek your cooperation in completing this program by keeping your camera turned on throughout the event. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome back to the second session of today's International Graduate Sharing Session, Sustainable Knowledge and Research Across Boundaries. My name is 𝘞𝘰𝘠𝘭𝘭 and I will be the moderator for this afternoon session. Thank you, Vanessa, for your outstanding hosting flow during the first part of the program in early morning. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for today's afternoon session is Social Sciences, Humanities and Education. Hence, the committee is proud to invite 3 more speakers, so be sure to stick until the end of the program. We have Mr. Wan Muhammad Idham Wan Mahdi from Universiti Tun Hussein on Malaysia, UTHM, Ms. Suci Sandi Wachyuni from Universitas Gadjah Mada, Indonesia, and Mr. Muhammad Faraz Mubarak from Kaunas University of Technology, Lithuania. Before moving on, I would like to introduce the first panelist for this session. The first panelist I'd like to introduce is Mr. Wan Muhammad Idham Wan Mahdi. He is an alumni of Universiti Tun Hussein on Malaysia who undertook bachelor degree in electronic engineering, thus further his studies to gain masters in business management, technopreneurship. He had a number of achievements and previous experiences while studying in UTHM. Majority of them contribute to business and entrepreneurship. For today, he will share his thoughts about the inclusive business model for SME growth towards a well-being society in Malaysia. Now, it is a pleasure to have you here with us, Mr. Wan. How are you feeling today?
Alhamdulillah, good. How are you, Wadihah?
Good, finest, good. Very much. All right, glad to hear that. Before handing off to the next session, I would like to remind again to please mute your mics to avoid any sorts of disturbance. If you wish to ask questions, you may do so after the speaker finishes his talk. Without further ado, I'll pass the floor to you, Mr. Wan.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. 𝘊𝘰𝘤𝘀𝘍𝑰𝑒𝑠𝑟ْ لِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِنْ لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُوا قَوْلِي. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon, everybody. Moderator of the session, Ms. Wadihah, distinguished guests, and my fellow friends. Everybody fine this afternoon? Already take your lunch, everybody? Wadihah, already take your lunch?
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. My name is Wan Muhammad Idham bin Wan Mahdi, and I'm from Faculty of Technology Management and Business, Universiti Tun Hussein on Malaysia, Johor. Today, I will present my research entitled Wind of Change, Inclusive Business Model for SME Growth Towards Well-Being Society in Malaysia. So, okay, before that, let me share my screen first. Okay, everybody can see my screen. Wadihah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, so before we go further, has anyone wonder why to the presentation title take the word Wind of Change as a part of the title? Okay, for your info, this 1990s song is quite popular with rock band called 𝘞𝘰𝘠𝘠, which actually the song portray the sentiment of hope and peace during reunification of the West and East Germany. So matching with this research title, okay, this presentation mode, paradigm change from the conventional business is only think about profit for the company into more responsible and sustainable business which care about people and environment, especially in Malaysia. Okay. Right. Okay, so a brief intro about my research. The research aimed to develop a framework for developing inclusive business model for the small medium enterprises growth towards enhancement of well-being society in Malaysia. Before we go further, let me expand a little bit regarding inclusive business model. Inclusive business model is an integrated management approach which involves large company, government, and also SMEs. This business model created and implemented by large company and directly involve SME in its supply chain and working closely with government to improve well-being of the local community, especially those who are living at the lowest fraction of the economic pyramid, or simply known as base of the pyramid, which is BOP. This model provides access to the product and services and expand them with sustainable livelihood opportunities, such as become a supplier, distributor, service agent, and many more, which that can generate income and better well-being. This model working on the local impoverishment community. Okay, inclusive business model recognize the significant role of the institutional environment where the design and implementation of this model done by the large company and also SMEs. Meanwhile, the initiation and enabler of this model is mainly from the government, together with non-governmental organization, aid donors, and also social enterprise. In short, inclusive business model is a way of creating, delivering, and capturing value that provide access to resources such as finance, technology, or market channel, as well as a space for decision making over the use to the BOP. All right, so let's proceed to the next. Okay, so what is actually the motivation behind this research? Before we are reflecting ourselves before we conduct this research. Actually, Malaysia is a developing country. Although Malaysia is a developing country, there is a imbalanced development between major city, rural area, Sabah and Sarawak, and also Peninsula of Malaysia. There is an unmet of the need owing to the geographical imbalance. Last week, there is a picture viral about a schoolgirl use a very poor bridge to go to school. Did Wadiah seen that picture?
I think I have, but I don't have a clear memory of it.
Okay, so the picture show a kampung girl go to school by using a poor bridge to the school in the rural area. So actually this picture or this situation is made me so touched, and this situation is actually a proof where there is a part of Malaysia is that need attention for development, at least proper basic facilities like bridge and road. There is also hardcore poor incidents happen in Malaysia due to social and economic problem. There is gap between income in the city and also the rural area. There is also decreased quality of life, which is a lack of a decent job and income opportunity. There are also difficulty for underprivileged Malaysians to access quality education and housing, especially indigenous people, or we call that orang asli. Things getting worse when the government plan for the budget regionalization, which the budget for the social security will cut off to focus on redevelopment and COVID-19 prevention agenda. There is also concern of SME recovery and development after the series of the movement control order, which is a lot of SME having issue of the lack of credit, training, development issue, and in the same time having a marketing complexity, poor management skill, lack of the ICT knowledge, and also heavy regulatory burden. Now, as briefly explained, inclusive business model is a mechanism as a firm and any parties that aim to solve social problem, systematic and financially sustainability through the market mechanism. The question is, what is the difference helping people through inclusive business model and any charitable effort done by the corporate? Okay, so through the charity, the company only help people by using one-off approach. After the end of the program, there is no follow-up or continuous effort to ensure that poor people sustain. However, through inclusive business model, the fate of the poor is better since they will be working directly or indirectly with large company, either as a worker or agent, or maybe as a distributor, supplier, or part of the large company business supply chain. For example, as you can see in the fun facts box, okay, Coca-Cola in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, introduced micro distribution center to groom and also give local people job as distributor of their product in the local area. Despite higher fleet truck to send their product nearby shop and having difficulty to access rural places, Coca-Cola opened this opportunity to give distribution job to the local people. They able to distribute and sell their product, and in the same time, they provide job for the local people. So what we can see is inclusive business model encourage strategic partnership between private sectors, SMEs, local community, and also the government. Inclusive business model also is a private sector approach to help people at the bottom of the pyramid, BOP, and this approach give mutual benefit to the poor through the business mechanism. All right. So for your info, recently our government introduced Rancangan Malaysia ke-12 or Malaysian 12 Malaysia Plan 2001 and 2025, which is this research actually is in line with the new plan on the propelling growth of the strategic and high impact industry as well as SMEs, which stated in priority area B, which is boosting capability of entrepreneur and enterprise to promote inclusive participation through micro, small, medium enterprise, cooperative, and also agriculture-based association. The government already aware that this inclusive business model promote the involvement of SME in the supply chain of the big companies such as GLC, government-linked company, and also multinational company, MNC. This could reach a benefit for the both party and also gain multiplier effect to the local community through the creating more job opportunity and also better income. Okay, so through our research, we would like to explore the implementation, the key factor, the issue, and the challenge faced by the stakeholder of the business model and benefit of the inclusive business model. Based on this data, we will develop a framework for developing inclusive business model in Malaysia. The question is how we identify a business is inclusive. This is the main issue. Basically, the concept of mutual benefit between company, government, and local people stated in a definition of inclusive business model. UNDP described it as the mechanism that established the mutually beneficial relationship between the company and also the poor. So the criteria of the inclusive business model utilized in the study is based on the criteria listed by Rossler et al. In 2013 and also Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, in 2015. So Rossler et al. In 2015 list out 6 criteria which are create opportunity for creativity, research capability and availability, increase local involvement, create awareness among client and stakeholders, building capacity like the providing training and also support, improve on management ability and commit support in terms of fund, effort and also patience before gain profit in the business. Meanwhile, FAO in 2015 mentioned that the criteria of the inclusive business model are providing livable income for the neediest, use a flexible trading agreement, scalable and in the medium term, support agriculture and small business to establish stronger negotiation position, builds on the current industry leader skill and experience and allow for diversified income status. Okay, so what is the research scope? All right, so basically this, for the research scope of the research, we use case study approach with involving 4 business model of the large company in Malaysia, which include representative of the small medium enterprises that already connected to the supply chain of the company, representative from the policymaker or related government agency, and local society. To make it easier, kindly refer to example in diagram of the case which involve company Z. So as you can see, every element in the business model, either at the large company, local SME, and local community, which is directly involved in the business model, we will approach for the interview because we believe each of the element have a significant perspective of inclusive business model. We also will approach government agency that assist this model in the community. We also would like to explore inclusive business model theory in Malaysia and its potential to be implemented. Okay, so currently in this research, we still in the data collection stage. So ongoing interview conducted among 4 business model initiated by the large company, which in line with definition and criteria of the inclusive business model. The interview included demographic, introductory, and also main question based on the key point from the literature review. Besides, the researcher also take initiative to do on-field observation. We go to the site and also interview with key people that directly involved in the inclusive business model. Last week, I just go to the SIT Kedah visit coffee farm in the SSHE. So that one is an inclusive business model that conducted by the large company in Petaling Jaya. Okay, so we asked them how the large company helped them to become a better coffee bean farmer, and they already they revealed that the company guide them to be how to manage a better coffee farmer, how to be a better coffee farmer. Okay, so okay, so after we get the data from the interview, then the thematic analysis is used to analyze interviews transcript and also identify finding regarding the business model. Okay, so to our data collection, what we currently find is that some of the large company already implement the inclusive business model with their own initiative without any assistance from government or from any parties. However, no or lack of support system provided by the government to assist or ease them to implement this model. Since this model can give benefit to the local SMEs and also community, I think it is a necessary if the government could tap and give a proper support to ensure that this model could sustain and maximize its impact. The market opportunity for the private sector to address the needs of the underprivileged people, which is in Malaysia we call is as a B40, that is until now has not fully explored. So need extensive research to find out this gap and also data from the government agency to ease private sector to plan sustainable business model. Okay, bear in mind this inclusive business model is actually a model that planned by the private sector. It is a private sector initiative. Okay, and we also find out that low level of awareness about the benefit of inclusive business model and lack of risk-taking spirit among Malaysian private sector for generating new business innovation that can help P40. The term inclusive business model and its approach is still new in Malaysia. There is an emerging need for the government and academic to explore more about this business model. Okay, in terms of the managerial implication, right? Far-reaching implication of the utilizing this model as a main foster development for SMEs and consequently achieve better well-being society, which is a better income, proper job, upskill and reskill skill. People will live happily with a stable job and also better income. SME also could grow more through the involvement in the large company supply chain through an inclusive business model, since this model promotes sustainable and responsible sources and more concerned about local community development instead of only focusing on company profits. Achieving trustful, mutually respectful relationship between large company, local SMEs and local community. Local people definitely will support the product and services that help them to improve their economy. Build credibility and image of more community-centric development through the involvement of the large company, which obviously more resources and capability to boost development of local community. Lastly, use of inclusive business model in general to promote responsible and sustainable development, particularly large companies' sensitivity towards local business and community development. Local business is more than happy to make side income with the involvement in the large company business chain. So, what is the originality or value of this research? This research is identify the implementation of the inclusive business model in Malaysia and also its positive impact on SMEs growth and social well-being of the local community. This research highlighted the potential of the large company as the new backbone, as the new force of the community empowerment throughout business approach. However, there is a two limitation in this research. This study only focused on Malaysia and potential company that implement inclusive business model were identified through company annual report or recent news. The study is conducted within 4 selected business model. So extensive research may find more interesting findings since inclusive business model is created and implemented by the respected company. Continuous effort is needed to explore more potential of inclusive business model in Malaysia. So that's all from me. Thank you for your attention and time. I return back the station to the moderator, Ms. Wahidah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wan. It looks like we have reached to the Q&A session now. Hence, for those who have questions, you may ask now. I'm sure Mr. Wan is ready to give his answers to your questions. So please don't hesitate to ask away. Are there any questions?
Anybody would like to ask about inclusive business model, or everything clear during my presentation? If clear, Alhamdulillah. Okay, right.
Seems that everybody's clear about it.
Alhamdulillah.
All right then. So yeah, if there are no questions, then I guess we wrap up this first session. Thank you again, Mr. Wan, for sharing.
Alhamdulillah.
For sharing insights plus giving new inputs about your research. Any last words that you would like to share to all guests who are attending today?
Thank you for attending the session, and I hope we can gain benefit from each other sharing and also create networking from this platform. That's all for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you again. Now, let's move on to the second part with the second speaker. I hope that the audience are ready for this second speaker. Now, she is currently undertaking her PhD in Tourism Studies in Universitas Gadjah Mada, Indonesia. Today, she will share her view regarding on how tourists consume local food in the digital era, and she will probably give a sneak peek of an exploratory study of tourist behavior in gastronomy tourism. Please welcome Ms. Suci Sandi Wachyuni.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Miss. How are you feeling today?
Hello, can you hear me clearly?
Yes. For me, it's clear. How about the others?
Yes, clear. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right, welcome. It's a big honor.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to share my presentation first.
All right.
Is it already appear on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to say thank you. Many thanks to 𝘰𝘳𝘪𝘴𝘵 for me to give the opportunity for present my research project as my dissertation in my PhD journey in Universitas Gadjah Mada. Now I am currently in the 3rd year, so this is the final decision for our PhD. So thank you. My name is Suci. I came from Indonesia, Universitas Gadjah Mada, and currently I work as lecturer in 𝘞𝘰𝘠𝘪𝘴𝘵 Polytechnic Tourism Institute. And great event, I would like to present part of my dissertation. This is just part of my dissertation that already published online in international journal. I would like to share about the novelty and then the interesting finding from our research. So the title is How Tourists Consume Local Food in the Digital Era, an exploratory study of tourist typology in gastronomy tourism. Okay, this is this is just curriculum vitae. I'll skip this. Okay, so the research background is about the gastronomy and technological transformation. As we know that gastronomy becomes important part of the journey. There are so many articles and so many research that found that gastronomy is a tool of destination marketing. It is effective for attract tourists to come to our countries. So as we know that now, food isn't just a psychological needs, but also an attractions. When we go to specific destination, so there are always unique food and iconic food and provide experience. And now in the digital era, technological transformation has changed the consumption behavior of tourists. The ease of access and the emergence of various media also have a significant impact on culinary tourism. So the research questions are the typology of tourists and how tourists consume local food in the digital era. In this picture, you can see that many countries serve local cuisines. Is very unique and has authenticity from their destinations. So this is one of my most delicious food in the world based on CNN 2017. There is rendang from Indonesia, and then nasi goreng, and then sushi, and now maybe move to 11th rank from the 50 cuisines in the world. So this is the unique food from Norwegia. This is a 𝘞𝘠𝘭𝘭. This is 𝘞𝘠𝘭 is head of sheep and then roasted and then baked and then usually eaten before Christmas. And this is my favorite food from Malaysia. This is nasi lemak, and then tom yum, and then gudeg from Yogyakarta. This is very unique food in every countries that can be attract tourists to come to our countries. So the research background is globalization and culinary homogenization. This is the challenge of our countries because the problem is local culinary is less explored by tourists. We can see that the phenomena nowadays, very many multinational cuisines come to our countries, and you can see in the pictures below. Maybe this is the brand, but almost in every country we found this brand. So because of that, local culinary is less explored by tourists. And then inadequate local culinary information because of so many SMEs doesn't use digital media to promote. So while the culinary, the foreign culinary or multinational culinary also use digital media for promote. And then the global culinary is growing massively, and culinary trends shift in millennials generation and Z generations is a very big challenge for our countries. And then besides the problems, we have opportunity. The first one is globalization can encourage localization, which means if there are diversification in the product of global cuisines like McDonald's, it is nasi uduk McD from Indonesia. They combine the local wisdom and then combine to the local culture to the menus. So it can increase peak experience seeking. So the tourists will find the authenticity one. And then another opportunity is gastronomy tourism trend around the world, and then emergence of various digital media as a source of information. So we can see here there are very many various media can be source of information in finding the local culinary in destinations. So this is the phenomenon nowadays. People find information in the digital media such as YouTube, Facebook, and then Google's or Yahoo or search engine, another search engine, and then social media like Instagram. So there are so many information that can be used to attract tourists before they go to destinations. So because the modern food and foreign cuisine has established this way, so that they can reach the broader market. So we can use various platforms to boost the information about the local food, and the information will be more attractive for tourists. So the novelty of this research and then the gap of this research is many kinds of research of gastronomic themes have been carried out, but very few have focused on the consumption behavior of tourists. Mostly discuss about food and tourism, gastronomic tourism experiences, and development strategy. And besides that, there are many partially research about technology and promotion and then consumer behavior, such as food blogger has influenced consumer to eat healthy, Gojek application promotion has influenced consumer to buy bubble drink, celebrity endorsement has influenced restaurant products purchase decision making. So there are many research, but partially, but it's just kiss and run the research about the phenomenon. So the current research, this is my part of dissertation project. My dissertation project is about tourist consumption behavior model in gastronomy tourism. So this is the part of our research questions that has been published in international journal in the focus to analyze tourist typology and gastronomy tourism. So by knowing this, it is expected that culinary business can adjust the strategy so that local culinary can be more explored by tourists. Local culinary tourism can be further developed in potential destination. My methods is quantitative research, which is I did online survey with Google Formulaire and then spread in WhatsApp broadcast message in Indonesia. And then I completed with literature study, and then my sample is purposive sample, tourists who have culinary tour in Yogyakarta and Solo, which is why I choose Yogyakarta and Solo, because Yogyakarta and Solo are the most favorite destination for culinary tourism in Indonesia based on report from the tourism ministry. So this data analysis use descriptive statistics and analysis of variance. So this is to enhance the gap research. I used 𝘍𝘰𝘁 to know how the gastronomic research appear here, that we can see that In verify selected keywords that I search for article tourist and local food consumption behavior, local culinary and digital, technology tourist consumption behavior, and social media tourist for food consumption behavior in scopus.com. I do scraping the data and then verify the total keywords, and there are still not many discussed about the food consumption behavior or local food and the digital media. We can see here local food and then digital media is doesn't appear here, so this is the gap. So I found the gap and then I did research about this. Next, this is density of the keyword when I search about local food and food consumption have been discussed, and we can see the density. Food consumption and social media has very rarely research has been done. So the relationship between keywords indicates related research. From the picture, it can be seen that there is no netted article discussing the relationship between local food consumption, and consumption behavior. We can see here there are no relationship about the research related consumption behavior to digital media or social media, or food consumption to social media, and then food to social media. So this is rarely found. So that this is our research gap. And come to the result. The result, we can see that tourist typology and gastronomic tourism is mostly dominated by gastronomic tourists. Gastronomic tourists is 74.7%, and then culinary tourists 15.3%, and non-culinary tourists 10%. Who's them and how's the characteristic? I will discuss more about this. So, but the same behavior among them is digital media and internet are their main source to find information about local food at the destination. Can we imagine that word of mouth or another media is doesn't more important again if they compare with digital media and internet? And we can see the red line here. The attitude towards local culinary, I mean the interesting of the local food in the destination, is increasing from the non-culinary tourists, culinary tourists, and gastronomic tourists. So the gastronomic tourist is the most interest tourist to local food. And then the blue line one is information seeking behavior. The most interesting tourist will find information before and on and post when she arrived to the destination to find about information of local food. So this is the trend is increases. So this is the differences about non-culinary tourists, culinary tourists, and gastronomic tourists. Can we see the behavior here that non-culinary tourists sometimes, usually eat because they are hungry. But culinary tourists, they eat because the food is unique and different. Food-oriented but more casual than gastronomic tourists. And gastronomic tourists, I eat because food is my main motivation to travel. So the gastronomic tourist has the main motivation to experiencing the local food at the destinations. So this is the dominated dominated respondents that I found in our research. So the non-culinary tourists choose healthy food. They priority healthy food, authentic local food, visit good atmosphere local culinary restaurant, and then besides the culinary tourists, choose unique food. That is very different because the non-culinary tourists will prefer healthy than unique, but culinary tourists prefer unique. Unique, healthy, local culinary culture at the destination, and the gastronomic tourist is more extreme because they will choose unique food, local culinary culture, and authentic food at the destination. So there are different segments in the tourism, culinary tourism. And the main information reference the non-culinary tourists usually still prefer word of mouth from friends than digital media. So the order is friends, YouTube, family, search engine, and Instagram. And culinary tourist main information reference is search engine. It's like maybe Google's or Yahoo. And then friends, Instagram, family, and YouTube. And the gastronomic tourist main information is Instagram, friends, search engine, YouTube, and family. So they are behavior for information related to local culinary, its culture, and the location of the restaurant that sell local food before the visiting destination. And then the key influencer here that can be highlighted is digital media and word of mouth. Is still the most valuable and trusted information from tourists. So I don't know, this is not work. Wait 4 minutes. Okay. So this is preference for local culinary information sources in digital media, which is I discussed before, that of the 3 types of tourists, NCT or non-culinary tourists prioritize word of mouth over digital media. So this is the highlight discussion that why Z and Y generation are dominated in this research, and then they are not married yet, mostly female, because we can show summary that female is more enthusiastic with the gastronomic or culinary tourism. Mostly they are students, entrepreneurs, and private employees. And the frequency of culinary tours is more than 3 times in the latest 3 years. That can be concluded that culinary tourism has become special interest tourism. And then this is the tourist typology in local culinary tourism is NCT, city, and GT. And then specialty for NCT, friends, family, or peer influence is still trusted information source for tourists. And then digital media is the main reference source of information, but word of mouth validate the information. Sometimes tourists, when they found the information in digital media, especially Instagram, they will validate in another media like YouTube or search engine, and then with family or the friends. So this is the conclusion and the recommendation that the studies provide theoretical implication that found different typologies of tourists related to local culinary consumption behavior in the digital era. By knowing the tourist typology in culinary tourism, practical implication that can be used as suggestion for developing gastronomic tourism in destination, especially in Indonesia and the world in general. And then culinary entrepreneurs in Yogyakarta and Solo are advised to be more active in using digital media in marketing activities. So can reach the broader tourists from another city from Yogyakarta or Solo, or maybe international tourists. So its culture and local wisdom is explored before they go to destination. And then the central government, local government, and destination manager are advised for assisting and facilitating of information digitalization for culinary entrepreneur, especially SMEs. And then further research can be carried out with broader research subjects, such as foreign tourists or in another countries, maybe in Malaysia, and can enrich with mixed approach, because in this study, we just use the quantitative research. But in our dissertations, in my dissertation, I use mixed method. So you all can read my full article here in Google Scholar. Maybe you can check of our account. This is my article with our promoter here, Pak Priyambodo, Pak Ibu Widya Stuti, and Bapak Sudarmaji. So that's all my presentation. Thank you. If there are many questions, I would like to answer. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Suci. So now it's time for the Q&A session. Please do not hesitate to ask Ms. Suci anything regarding the related topic.
Thank you, Ms. 𝘞𝘠𝘭𝘭.
Welcome. Any questions? I repeat, are there any questions from the audience?
Hello, Assalamualaikum, Suci.
Yeah,
Hi, very nice presentation. I enjoy along your session.
thank
Okay,
you.
I'm really interested to know about word of mouth, which is you already mentioned in your presentation. So during your research, do you think that word of mouth is still powerful marketing tools for tourism in Indonesia? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is very interesting questions, Mr. Wan. Okay, word of mouth, yeah. Because of in our finding of this research, digital media is 74.7% dominated in as a source of information. But word of mouth is still trusted information to validate the information from the digital media. So when I did my deep interview with another interviewer in my respondent, they say that mostly they use digital media because it's very practice, and then it's very speed information that we can reach the information there. And then when we will go to the destination, usually they go to the family and friends to validate the information. Is it true, or maybe the family or friends have experienced before and then they validate the information? So I mean, in this finding, WOM is still trusted, but the main source is digital media. That's it.
Thank you, Suci.
You're welcome.
All right, are there any more questions?
And maybe I just want to discuss about the in Malaysian countries. Is it already been done research about the maybe gastronomy tourism, because of Malaysia has similar various food in Malaysia like Indonesia. So there are there many gastronomic research there in 𝘊𝘰𝘤𝘢, or
In my experience, I do not have such expertise in gastronomy, so I don't have much exposure towards that topic. So yeah, I really don't, because I'm still in bachelor degree. Yes, under the under mechanical engineering.
oh, nice.
Yes. So yes, I'm very unfamiliar about gastronomy. So with your presentation just now, it felt wow. It felt very great for me.
Yeah, thank you. But I also interesting about the one presentation about this SMEs, because of sometimes SMEs is very difficult to develop in the digital era, and sometimes SMEs is a defense about the digital. Maybe it's very interesting. We can discuss more about that one, Idham.
Yeah, sure, inshallah. Regarding your question just now about gastronomy in Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
So actually there's a lot research about Malaysian gastronomy in Malaysia, gastronomy tourism, which is done by the researcher from UITM. Okay, so yeah, if we Google about gastronomic tourism in Malaysia, there is a lot of article. Maybe Suci can compare the outcome of from the Indonesia and Malaysia also.
Yes, of course.
But I think since we are Nusantara in the same grassroots, so maybe it's quite similar the outcome. Okay.
That will another research for literature research.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for your suggestions.
All right.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay. So we have one question here in the chat box. So the question goes like this: how to maintain your research activity despite the challenge as being a lecturer?
Yeah, it's interesting, Miss Tahir, because besides I'm a lecturer, so I'm a management of the Sahid Polytechnic. So I did many tasks here. So it's very crowded and tight time. And then I am a mother of one child. As we know that it's very difficult to find time to do research. But because of I have a goal about my research, and then I have to finish this research in this year. So I have more energy to do this. So to maintain the research activity, I think when I'm tired, so I'm sat down, shut down for a while, and then go traveling for relaxing, and then go another city, or just go to coffee shop to sip coffee. But after that, we have to remind that we have a goals. So this is the strategy that I maintain the activity. That's all, Shahir.
All right, thank you for the answer. Here's an additional question from me, as someone who has no knowledge about gastronomy. So, in your experience, do you do like site visits, or just to see how gastronomy is done and how it's expanded, especially in this Nusantara area? And do you have any plans to see how do you have plans to see its expansion outside Asia?
Yeah. Okay, 𝘠𝘰𝘠𝘢𝘐, it's very interesting because I like culinary, I like eating. So sometimes this research is very interesting for me because our specialties is about gastronomic research. So I would like to expand to in another city. Maybe we can join the joint research with UTHM and Indonesia that has been similar, have similar various food in our country, so we can do the research together. But yes, of course, this very interesting. And sometimes when I go to another city or another countries, I will always see and then analyze how the gastronomics expand or the gastronomic development here. So when I go to New Zealand for 1 year, for 1 month in 2018, it been scholarship for short course from Ministry of Education is here. So I can compare that in Indonesia, maybe to Malaysia also. We have many culture and many various food, but in Europe or in New Zealand, they hasn't, just have fish and then so on, but don't have spicy food in their country. So I mean, the gastronomy is very potential in Indonesia and Malaysian too, because we are rich for our culture and then our spices. That's all, 𝘍𝘰𝘤𝘢. So it's very interesting to site visit another and expansion the research.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so we have another question from the same person. Is there any tips in publication, especially to get high citation?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shahir. Yeah, I got the higher citation is it maybe just still low compared with you all, but how to get high citation is I always did the research based on the trend or based on the situations, the current issues. It's like the highest citation of our paper is about the travel tourist behavior trend in after COVID pandemic. So because of COVID is trending, so this is the impact is the high citation. But I didn't expect that. I just write and then I just want to know about the trend and then want to know about what to know about the result about my research. So that it's isn't my goal to get high citation, but because I'm very interested in research and I want to know about the phenomenon, so that will follow. I think, yeah. That's all, Shahir.
All right, thank you. Hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Shahir. Are there any more questions before we proceed to the next part? Right, countdown, 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you, Ms. Suci, for your delightful sharing session. A lot of new input has been shared to us. Hopefully the audience will gain something from this. Again, thank you so much. Any last words that you would like to share to all guests?
Okay, I would like to say thank you so much for your attention to our presentations. So I hope this presentation can have implication for you all, and then we can do more joint research with us in Indonesia to Malaysia. So that's all. I would like to say thank you for the committee to invite me in this event, and it's very great event. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. So before we proceed to the next part, we would like to take a short break, maybe 10 minutes like that, because we have a bit of technical issues. So with that, we will have a 10-minute break. Thank you. Please take a while for the last speaker. Hopefully, you will stay with us until the end of the program. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon. So we had a bit of an issue. The last speaker, the third speaker, did not enter the main hall yet. So while waiting for him to prepare, we would like to have a bit of an activity, I would say, to fill in this gap time. So for this moment, I would like to open the floor to the audience who are interested, who would like to give a brief introduction or brief presentation about their current project or research. So is there anyone who would like to volunteer to present their research? Don't be embarrassed. This is just to introduce your work to other people. Well then, if there's no one, how about I invite a person right here? Probably Miss Diana N. Are you there?
Okay, wait. Hi everyone. Okay, I think you guys called me because I'm very participate in the previous session. Okay, this is such a ad hoc activity, yeah. And of course, I don't have any slide presentation, so maybe I just can share with you guys that what am I currently doing. I'm a master degree student. This is going to be hopefully my final semester, hopefully.
Inshallah.
And then right now I'm doing my project is about remote sensing on ionosphere research, which is much more related with the previous speaker, Abdurrahman. Yeah, we are doing research on the ionospheric irregularities, phenomena, something like my research focused on equatorial plasma bubble. This is kind of some phenomena that only happened in our equatorial region. Actually, it doesn't happen in high latitude like in Antarctica or in country in high or mid latitude of our Earth, but this is very significant because it's only happened in the equatorial region, like our Malaysia country, and also Indonesian also situated at the equatorial region, right? And then by that, I actually observing how these phenomena do affected the GPS signal. Means that it's not, I know everyone, when we talk about GPS, you guys will only think about some like the one that we use to navigation, right? Google Maps, Waze, and many others, electronic device also. But then actually in GPS is about a satellite. So by using that satellite, GPS satellite, we can get so many kind of data. So by that data, we get an ionospheric data, and by then we use that to analyze this equatorial plasma bubble phenomena. Also at the same time, I did some research regarding the solar flare. I know solar flare is kind of hype right now because in Malaysia they have some gossip everywhere and telling that we are going to have a very big solar flare in this time, and then it's going to affect all the internet, all the telecommunication. No, guys, it's actually no. Solar flare, we do have many kinds of mini grade. We ranking as a grade. Solar flare, we have X class flare, C class flare, M class flare. So I would say that X class flare, X class flare is the most dangerous, because it can do affect our telecommunication signal. But as you all know, actually solar flare do happen every day. Yeah, but how severe it is, that is depend on the space weather condition actually. So if you guys find maybe in Facebook or in other social media that trying to say our space weather in our earth, there is solar flare is going to hit our earth, so please don't trust any news that don't support with a fact, because I think this is quite good things to have an awareness that solar flare is not that dangerous, because it happened every day. But the difference is the grade. How does it affect to our earth? Okay, so that's a bit as much about my research. Okay, I think I pass to you, Wachyuni.
All right, very interesting. So, are there any questions regarding Miss Liana's research? Or maybe Miss Liana have certain slides, or something to present to the audience.
No, guys, actually, I don't have anything to present, because it's such an ad hoc. I've been called to share with you guys to fill up the time. Okay, maybe I know, maybe MC reluctant to choose anybody. So can I appoint anyone right now?
Oh, passing the button there, are we? Well, I guess so, probably.
All right. Maybe we can hear from Raimi. Raimi, are you there? Raimi P.
Raimi P. Raimi P, are you there?
I guess he's opening his mic, but we can't hear him well. Never mind. Maybe we can hear some from Sabrina Azahar.
Well, since there's no response, how about I give it a chance to Shahir Anwar. Shahir, are you there?
Hello everyone, good afternoon. It's still afternoon, I think. So, what's the question right now?
Do you have any project or research that you would like to share to the audience?
Oh, okay, currently I'm doing my PhD in engineering technology, specialized in material development, especially for biomedical application. So now I'm in the writing process for my pre-viva thesis. Then my project is about it's about developing a new materials using polyvinyl chloride (PVDF) with polyvinyl alcohol, and then infused with bromelain as an antibacterial agent, or we can use it as a debridement agent for wound healing application. So and then at the same time I'm doing a side project about tourmaline application of tourmaline, the potential of the tourmaline, which is a clay material that can be used as also for antibacterial and antiviral. So that's all for me. So I would like to pick Dizo to give his sharing about this topic.
Where's
Dizo?
Dizul? Dizul, are you there?
Yeah. I'm here.
All
Hi,
right.
everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. What's the question?
So can you share your current study or research to the audience?
Okay. Right now I'm doing my PhD, which is the project I carry on is about the same as my master project. So my master is I transform the conventional visual management system into the digital visual management system. So the visual management system is one of the lean manufacturing techniques. It's one of the base for the house, the Toyota house diagram pillars. It's one of the base to support the two main pillars of the Toyota production system. So why I choose the visual management, because through visual, people can see, the operator can see what they need to respond to the current manufacturing situation. During my PhD study is I about to transform the conventional production system in any manufacturing industry in Malaysia into the smart manufacturing. By doing that, I can see what are the anomalies happen in the manufacturing processes, and also by having that, they can also undergo any other. They can detect any opportunities to increase the savings and also boost up the productions. Just that from me. I don't have anything to share also to you guys. So I would like to pass the baton back to our moderator. So you can pick anyone else.
All right. Thank you. Well, for me, I'm undergoing my bachelor degree right now, so probably not worth to share lah. No competition. Not the same level as you guys. I'm still lower than you guys. Okay. So, yes. We have Mr. Javid. Do you have anything to say? Mr. Javid, are you there? Okay, since there's none. Right. So who else do we have here? How about we have Miss Shazwana? Miss Shazwana, are you there?
Shazwana already gave us speech earlier. She's our first speaker.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I know you are nervous right now.
Yes.
because we could not see our speaker yet. I know
Yes.
you are nervous.
So I'm very clueless right now. So yeah, like that. So right. So since the last speaker was uncontactable, out of reach, so I think it's there's a high possibility that we can end this program early. So before we end, I'll just follow the flow. I'll just present what I do currently, what my project is about. So under the mechanical engineering, under the faculty of mechanical engineering, I'm currently undertaking bachelor's degree in aeronautical engineering technology, in brackets professional piloting. So this morning, my co-host Vanessa, she undertook the same course as me, but in brackets aircraft maintenance. Yes. So we both in the aeronautical department, and currently my research is about environmental impacts of commercial aircraft operations. Commercial aircraft operations in during post-COVID-19 recovery period. So yeah, it's more on calculating emissions, aircraft emissions. So aircraft emits gases consist of carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, and hydrocarbons, where all of these gases are very harmful and can affect the environment in the long run. So I presented this this morning, so I'm still generating. Okay. And then what else? Oh yeah. So the aim of my study is to analyze, to study about the aircraft emissions, to analyze aircraft emissions in 𝘰𝘰𝘤𝘪𝘵 airport during post-COVID-19 recovery period. So I think that's about it. Most of my research consists a lot of reading and a lot of calculations, and I'm still in the first phase of my research. So yeah, that's all from me. So I accept any questions if you'd like to ask.